y gracias por acompañarnos una vez más en el
Hello, and thanks for joining us on our show, The World, El Mundo.
¿Qué nos depara el futuro? ¿Cómo podemos
And today we're going to
construir
talk about
esperanzador?
fate.
Para eso tenemos como de costumbre al doctor Michael Leitman, con quien vamos a conversar este tema. Dr. Leitman, gracias.
And with us is Dr. Michael Leitman. Hello, Dr. Leitman. Thanks for being with us. My pleasure.
Dr. Leitman, hay una nueva realidad.
Dr. Leitman, there is a new reality. Obviously, the world's changing, and this change didn't leave us much time to respond. Things happened very quickly, and we're asking about tomorrow. What's going to happen to me, my family, the world? How can we create some kind of future, some kind of fate, expectation? But first of all, I'd like to ask, what is fate? Fate is the upper force that nature has a plan, and this plan is being realized. And we're inside this program. Let's say that nature is like a big computer that works according to its program, and we're inside this program, and we're changing according to the program. And we don't know how are we changing, why are we changing. It's something that we can learn about, but usually people don't look at that. And for example, we talked about these changes that are now happening many years ago, and about basic income, or an income for everyone, and things like that that we'll have to do because people will be unemployed. We talked about this even a few months ago, and suddenly it appeared and it came from different societies, countries, governments, and we see that these things are happening very quickly. And we will have to realize them because we actually studied about the laws of nature. We learned about the process that nature is taking us through. Society, everyone, everything, nature. And we're not wrong. It's really happening. Only now we have to learn what does nature want from us and how can we realize the orders of nature that then surely we will all be better off. About this program that you're offering, which is the future fate, can it change? No. From the beginning to the very end, our entire fate, our entire history, everything we have to go through, we see no changes. But since then and for always, nature wants to bring society to an integral form. Only it does it in a way that we ourselves will be able to understand and participate with it, with nature. When you say to participate with nature, what do you mean? That we understand the laws of nature, the process that we have to go through. In what way can we participate with it in this process? What do we have to do with ourselves? Nature is demanding us to be connected together, to be included with nature integrally, to learn, to agree with all of this process, and for us to really be able to hasten our development without nature forcing us through pressure called the path of suffering, for us to be able to advance toward the goal that where nature wants for all of us to be as one man and one heart, all of us existing together, for us to advance toward this, out of consent,
Revisando lo que dicen nuestros sabios,
willingly.
encontramos un fragmento que dice sobre el
From
verso
what Kabbalists say, we found a text from the introduction to the 10 Sfirot. It says, "Now you can understand the words of our sages about the verse, therefore choose life." It states, "I instruct you to choose the part of life as one who says to his son, choose for yourself a good part in my land. He places him on the good part and tells him, choose this for yourself." The question is then, where is man's choice? Where is man's choice then? To what measure can we really control our fate? We are egoistic creatures. That's obvious. This is how it is by nature, that everyone thinks about himself, and no one thinks about anything else, besides really only caring for himself, his family, and all the rest. He's incapable of focusing on it. It's not something that he thinks about. It's not in his nature. And here we have to build a society that will force each of us and all of us together to think about everyone. Because whether we like it or not, we're reaching an integral form. Nature is pushing us to be interconnected in a good, nice, and correct way, to feel ourselves as one family. The general form of nature, still vegetative and animate, entirely demands of us to be together. And we ourselves can't be together. We are worse than the still, the vegetative, and the animate. We're so egoistic, so individualistic, that we're the worst, simply, from all the forms of nature. And therefore here we have to learn, what are we supposed to do about ourselves? What kind of form are we supposed to take on? What does it mean, an integral form? And we have to learn by what forces, that we do not possess these forces, but by what forces can we connect ourselves in this round, ballish form, where everyone's like everyone. And then to get rid of the power of the fist, of weapons, to simply cease using these things in society and to reach an integral society. This is our goal, and here we have to pay attention that nature is really coming in order to teach us, either through viruses and severe problems for the entire human society. And we see that it's the first time in human history that the blow that we got from nature in the form of the coronavirus is a general, integral blow. And accordingly, we have to understand, what do we do? How do we reach a state, a correct state? Previously, you said that the fate is predetermined from beginning to end. If so, my question is, what's the use in making any kind of effort if everything's predetermined? Yes, you're right, but how to reach that fate, that form that we have to reach, the integral form, where all of us are correctly interconnected in a friendly, good and nice way, this is something that has to be implemented. And if not this virus, then the next or other blows will force us to be correctly interconnected. But how will we reach this ourselves? Not through blows. Not through blows, because if we're talking about not wanting this, not getting integral education, not wanting to somehow arrange ourselves in a good, nice, and mutual way, then our ego brings us to annihilation, to world war, severe things. Therefore, we have to start learning. And by learning, from nature, through the sources about nature, what is it demanding of us, and this how we'll change. I'd like to understand, if I make an effort to reach the integral form that you're talking about, how does this, or how will this eventually influence me as a person? In what way will this benefit me or cause me a better future, something more promising if everything's predetermined? I'll tell you, we have received from nature an egoistic force, and it's developing all the time from one generation to the next. And against the egoistic force, we have to get the other, opposite force from nature, the altruistic force of connection against the force of separation, and in between these two forces to arrange society. Until now, we connected ourselves only by or under egoistic forces. Now that I'm going back to work, to the labor market, I'll see how can I make myself stronger so I won't have to take anyone into consideration. Then I have no choice. I stumble upon the others, and through the different frictions with the others, we somehow build society, and it changes all the time. It's called competition, and as if it is good, until we come to a real war. In nature, there is a positive force, the force of connection, that we gain not necessarily as a result of arguing, colliding with one another. And this force of connection is something that we have to derive from nature. We have to get it out of an educational system. When you're saying that we have to reach this connection in order to operate this positive force, for it to affect us for the better, so we are already changing fate. If so, how is it that our fate will not change? But you're saying that the future will not change. But if we're changing things for the better, then we're avoiding different problems and blows. We will reach that same good future that already exists, only we'll reach it in a short and good way. Not by way of blows. We're not learning through the blows that here you have no choice, you somehow agree, but we're learning due to the force of good. Like you tell your children, be good kids, don't argue, don't hit each other, play nicely, and everything will fall into place. You want to have the same at home with your kids, right? And this is exactly what we'd like to have in our society with the grown-up children. If so, every person has a good future. Of course, all of us. I really hope that the coronavirus that's coming and other blows, if we don't use this virus correctly, there will come other viruses, other problems that will teach us in a short way how to reach a good future. I talked about this many years ago, and I'm happy that now it is starting to realize. If so, what is our freedom of choice? Our freedom of choice is not to advance through blows to a better future, where we're all connected and enjoy a good life, but for us to reach this through connection, through supporting one another, and then we reach that same good life in a good and short and nice way. If, God forbid, a person's ill, coronavirus, something else, he has economic problems, he doesn't see it as a good future. Of course, all of these viruses, all of these blows, they came to us in order to show us how incorrectly we're living our life, how incorrectly we're acting. The coronavirus is showing us that we have to be connected in a good and nice way in an integral society. This is what this blow tells us. To connect nicely in a general society, and then everything's going to be fine. And in the meantime, if you're egoistic and you can't, move away from each other. Okay, to summarize, does fate depend on us somehow, or what? The fate does not depend on us according to the final goal that we have to reach. But what depends on us is how to get there, in a short and good way, or a long and not so good way. Let's hope we'll choose the good. We'll try to be good kids, as you recommend. Thank you very much. Till next time, all the best, Dr. Lightman. And thank you for being with us. All the best till next time.